All right, everybody. Good evening. Thank you all for joining me on Oscar night. I know it's a big night, so I want this to be impactful and strong and good, and then we can all watch the important things like the Oscars. Anyhow, is everyone doing all right? Thumbs up. Good. Great. I know we'll probably have some others join us here in the next minute or so, and I'm recording this. But I just want to thank you all for your commitment. Thank you for being here. And I want to get right to it. So this is going to be a little bit interactive. I've got everyone muted. So be sure if I ask a question to unmute yourself so that you can speak accordingly. But let's just jump into this. A little background. First and foremost, does everyone know what this is? Costco memberships. All right. By a show of hands, who has either had one or currently has a Costco membership? Okay. All right. So with your Costco membership, which one do you have, Katie? Do you have the business member, the Gold Star, or the executive member?
I have the Gold Star, I think.
Okay. So thank you very much. So the Costco membership is $55 a year, so you can get discounted wholesale products. The Gold Star member is the same price, $55 a year. I think you get to go in an hour earlier or something like that, so there's a little fringe benefit. The one at the bottom is the executive member, and I'm not bragging, but this is the one that Jen and I have. Okay? We started out with the Costco business member wholesale, the $55 one, and about 5 years ago, we upgraded to the executive membership, and it was double the price. Just remember that. We'll come back to this at the end. Okay. So this weekend, Jen, who's behind me and maybe will sit next to me, this past week had her jewel training that when you become an Emerald, you all will get to go to. It'll be in Phoenix, and it's run by leadership there. And she had a jam-packed 2.5 days, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. with very few breaks all day long, covering a range of topics. So I didn't get to see her until Friday night. We snuck in a date. And after our little date, there were a lot of people meandering in the lobby, and one of them is, or two of them were Zach and Nikki Hinkle. So for those of you who don't know, Zach and Nikki are diamonds, and have been diamonds for quite some time. They went diamond in less than a year. They're down in the Woodlands, Texas, and he was a pilot, also runs basically an anti-terrorism software company. And I know that she majored in mathematics at Oklahoma, but I can't remember what her career was. If she was a teacher.
She's a numbers girl.
She was analytics.
And they have a number of diamonds under them.
A number of diamonds. So here's the question I posed to Nikki after a glass of wine. You and Zach are diamonds. What does your team do differently than others? So one of the great benefits, I think, Jen, you can speak to is that when you're around peers, especially those who are not in your own downline or upline, you get to ask lots of questions and see different feedback.
Yeah, I would say probably one, if not the biggest benefits of being in a room full of 80 other jewels is to find out what was their path to success and what makes them stand out differently than for your own journey. And we know all of us have our own journey and our own timeline, but there was a wide range of success in that room. And so you're naturally drawn to the people that have found a measured mark of success and in the business about the same amount of time we have been.
Right. So Nikki's first answer, right at the top of her tongue, was we love wholesale ambassadors. So it wasn't some other long answer. This was her response. We love wholesale ambassadors. So I was immediately engaged, and I had another 45 minutes of conversation that's going to lead to this
chapter,
training.
Basically.
Yes, that's going to lead to
I'm going to understand what this means to a T before you leave me.
That's right. So here's some Nikki-isms. Here's some bullet points that I'm going to jump into. And this is going to be some information that's going to scare those of you who are watching this and participating tonight,
Mm-hmm.
and those who are actually watching this later, it should scare you.
It's a little different than what we have been taught historically.
That's right. So 1,000 PV is a red flag. That sounds really counterintuitive.
Their faces.
$1,000 in PV is a red flag. I'll talk about that in a second. Not everybody envisions themselves as a network marketer, but everybody loves a good deal. Okay?
Truth, right?
Right? The third one, this business is a numbers game, and it takes wholesale ambassadors to reach diamond. Again, we're going to show you some math a little bit later on that this will start to congeal. And then this business is a cycle. Customer, wholesale, ambassador. That's the process. That's the cycle that her team goes through and that she teaches. Customer, wholesale, ambassador. Okay. So here's the process that she teaches her team from day one, and they teach their team, and so on and so forth. So that if you talk to someone who's a level 6 on her team or level 1, they'll say the exact same thing. She works to start every single person as a customer, and she doesn't care if they're a preferred customer or if they're a retail customer. It doesn't matter. Start them as a customer. Within their first 30 days or right after the 30 days, but definitely before their 10% discount mark if they're a preferred customer, she works to convert them to a wholesale ambassador. Okay, so why is that? What you'll see is it sounds counterintuitive. Well, I want to have PV. I want to maximize the compensation plan. What she's found through the math is that, number one, wholesale ambassadors benefit the pay point more than preferred customers because the preferred customer bonus is taken out of our side of the pay point. That's number one. Number two,
and that's new, that's relatively new information.
Right, that's new information. She's known this for a long time, and it's just been confirmed. Okay. So number two is she works to convert them within 30 to 60 days from a customer to a wholesale ambassador, and we're going to talk about exactly how you do this. Number three, after that, she adds them to the team page so that they can absorb the information at their pace. So it's not, okay, I want to explain the comp plan. I want to show you how you can start posting on Facebook. It is, okay, cool. You're gonna get the same products you're getting.
Your discount.
You're just getting a bigger discount. And I'm going to add you to the team page so you can see what's going on and understand all the other products.
And I think the difference here of what we've talked about in the past is that we've said, okay, we'll qualify a wholesale ambassador if they have at least one person that we know, or one person in their home in addition to themselves, or one person that they know that they could sell to. And even when you say, and I guess her explanation was this, is even when you even say your family member or one person you know, you're immediately assuming you're trying to make them a salesperson.
Right.
And if they've told you I'm not a salesperson, they're going to still shun the idea. So you lay the expectation that you're just a customer. You don't know. We don't want you to share or sell with anyone.
Right. So remember we've talked about the takeaway close. This is using the takeaway close. We don't want you to sell. Just absorb this information at your pace.
And there's not an option to be added to the team page or not. It's just part of the process. This is just to keep you informed. Don't let it overwhelm you. If it doesn't pertain to you, it doesn't pertain to you.
Right. And then number 4 is you stick with them, just like a customer, to make sure that they love it. And what she's found is that when people do this, when they convert and they stick with these wholesale ambassadors just like their customers, because they're on the team page and because they're purchasing the products, they wind up purchasing more products than they would if they were just a customer, because they're hearing about Mega X and they're hearing about ProBio 5 and they're hearing about products that they would not normally be purchasing as a customer because they're seeing this on the team page all the time.
And the relationship is different. If you get a coupon in the mail, a coupon book from Costco or Sam's, you don't take that as an assault. But if Costco or Sam's calls you on the phone and says, hey, we're trying to sell you a $300 vacation, you feel more on the defensive when they call you and try to offer you an additional product over the phone, which is sometimes maybe what our customers feel like when they're a preferred customer. And you're like, well, now that you've been doing this, I want to offer you this. And instead, because they're on the team page, they're going to naturally be exposed to, wow, so-and-so had a great testimony, and on the X Factor, I need some of that because I'm losing my hair.
Right.
That kind of.
Okay. And then step 5, wash, rinse, repeat. You're going to see this a lot. Once the customer has been turned into a wholesale ambassador, and then within a couple months, they start tipping their toe in the water and sharing, we backfill, get a new customer, and start the same process over and over again. Okay. So here's the keys to success when following this system. Once they're onboarded as a wholesale ambassador, product education is critical. So it's important for these people to learn about all the different products and how they may benefit them. You know, when I started and Jen started, we just did Slim. And had we not been ambassadors, learning about everything else, we wouldn't have gotten on ProBio, BioCleanse, Mega X, and X Factor. Just wouldn't have happened. We were just getting Slim.
The shakes, yeah.
The shakes,
yeah.
Right. So, and what happens is the cycle is the same because they're learning more about as a wholesale ambassador, and then they would as being a customer. They take more, which means they feel better, and then they feel better about sharing. So it's a cycle.
Yes. And in every group of the Jules training, the majority were.
You're getting ahead. Yeah, you're getting ahead.
The majority were originally wholesale.
Okay. So the key here again is when you've got a preferred customer, I think what we've done as a disservice is that we let our preferred customers get to the 10% discount in their 4th month. We need to be taking them from a preferred customer that's getting triplex over $100, and you're just going to get it cheaper and become a wholesale ambassador. You don't have to share anything. This is just getting it cheaper. Okay. So the technique. All right. And again, I'll put this file on the team page, but this is either over the phone or a text or an email. Hey there, Jen. Hey there, Stephanie. I know you're loving your products. I just want to make sure I let you know about the opportunity to get them even cheaper. It's only $34.95 per year to be a wholesale ambassador, sort of like a Costco membership. And then you'll get your products for even cheaper, and you can set up an auto order or just order in your back office as needed. When you join, you'll be set up on a website. You'll be set up a website. So if you ever do have someone interested in ordering, they can order from you and you can get paid on their orders. But you don't by any means have to sell. That opportunity will just be available if you decide to. There's no quotas and no hidden fees. Let me know if you want me to remind you before your auto ship orders goes through so we can flip you over to Ambassador to get it cheaper. Okay? Mm-hmm. So this is it's a different way of approaching it. It's the same message, right? It's the same thing that we want to do. It's just a different approach. They're going to get a welcome pack because they're going to get it at a cheaper discount. So rather than get that customer order that you used to, that 2nd or 3rd month, they're going to get the welcome pack and pay the $34.95. And so they're going to get their same products but get it at a cheaper fee, and then you're going to get the business builder bonus. Okay? So let's do the math, because I think one of the big things that a lot of us can get our heads about is a short-term versus long-term focus. We all have short-term bills to pay. We all have short-term obligations to meet. And we can't always look long-term, but I want you to see this math. Someone like Erica, like Sherilyn, like Beverly, who consistently get $2,500 a month in PV, and probably right now are really motivated by getting $2,500 because of the convention contest. I want to show you all the math that Jen and I worked on this afternoon so you can see this and see it really clearly. If you do $2,500 in PV a month for 3 months, you're going to get $600 in commission from that $2,500. Okay. You're also, let's assume that they're all triplex customers and they're all preferred. You would get another $500 in preferred bonuses.
And those are both per month.
That's per month, right? So you would earn winner's dinner. That's fantastic because you're going to get 300 points a month for January, February, March, or February, March, and April. And you would earn a total of $3,300 in 3 months.
That sounds good.
Awesome. It's great. Okay, it's wonderful. The downside is there's no growth. and the pay point gets reduced. Here's why. You're like, well, wait a minute, it's $2,500 in PV. Why would the pay point get reduced?
Mm-hmm.
Remember what we mentioned at the onset. Preferred customer bonuses get taken out of our side of the commission. So a wholesale ambassador's PV of $100 is greater than a preferred customer's PV of $100 because that $18 to $20
Gets additionally taken out.
Gets taken out of the 100
of our commission side for points.
for points.
Does anybody have any questions on that right now?
Okay, we'll keep moving. Go ahead and interrupt if so. So that's the downside of it, PV. Okay, let's look at how the pay point actually gets reduced. I just talked about this. So $100 from a wholesale ambassador pays more than $100 from preferred customers. Quite simply, just because of that preferred customer bonus.
Well, and I think the biggest point there too that you said is no growth. How hard do you have to work, you guys? You know, for $2,500 PV every month, that's really hard to do. If you lose a customer, you got to go find another one, and there's no guarantee that you're going to flip them if you're working towards just getting customers. So you sit there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I'm going to get to the math of the growth side, but this is what Jen was doing a spoiler alert on. This was the training class from week 3. Jen was in week 4. And these are all the jewels who were asked who joined just to be a wholesale ambassador. So we immediately think when someone says, oh, I'm going to be a wholesale ambassador, I don't want to share, that's where they're going to stay. Well, I mean, I'd rather have them as a preferred customer because I get that short-term bonus. And no, these are all, look at all those hands. Those are people who say they just joined to be wholesale ambassadors.
Yeah.
Those are all jewels making no less than $10,000 to $50,000 or more a month.
Correct.
So let that sink in. So let's now do some math. If you're growth focused and you follow this process of taking a customer to a wholesale ambassador. So first off, if you started today and you were shooting for $2,500 in PV, but now we're actually going to say, let's get $2,500 in wholesale ambassadors. That would equal about 90 new ambassadors over the next 3 months. So the points from those 90 ambassadors would be 150, then they would grow to 300, and then they grow to 450 points. So your income from that same set of customers would be $2,700 in points in 3 months. You'd also earn $2,000, and this is only on the $99 welcome pack, making sure they did the cheapest one. You'd also earn $2,227 in business builder bonuses. Because you were over 450 points, over 250 points, you'd also hit senior gold, and you would have earned $700 in bonuses.
And well on your way to Ruby.
Well on your way to Ruby, getting another $350 bonus. So your total income in 3 months would be, or 500, excuse me, $5,627.50. There's a downside of not having preferred customers, and that is you would reduce your short-term income as these wholesale ambassadors are coming on board. But you really wouldn't, because essentially you're replacing it with wholesale ambassadors. So when we compare it, when you're PV focused, in other words, I just want to hit $2,500 in PV. I just want to hit $1,000 in PV. You're going to earn $3,300. But when you're growth focused, your income is nearly double, well over 70% greater than PV.
And the numbers still work if you say, well, I've never hit 2,500, so that doesn't matter or apply to me. If your goal has been 1,000 and instead of 1,000 you needed, what did we say? I can't remember, but let's say you needed less than half of that ambassadors, maybe you needed 45 ambassadors. Your ratio for your income of what you're going to make is still markedly different, and you'll make more money from a growth.
That's right.
Focus.
Yeah.
I don't want to overstep my boundaries.
Yeah. So let's talk some next steps. Going forward, we want our leaders to train your team and your leaders the following, and without being dogmatic or authoritarian or dictatorship.
Yeah. And let me say this. Here's the deal.
Here's the part.
This was what somebody said. Our job, all of our jobs as a leader, when you have one person under you, you're a leader, is to direct and help the people under you meet their goals. As a leader wanting to help meet your goals, every single one of you that are on here have expressed your goals to us, and your goals are to grow a business. If your goals are just to get $500 to pay for a car payment or grocery money or whatever, then maybe this isn't the approach. But I'm telling you, we want to start doing what we see other people doing that is successful. And as a team, we have been successful in some areas, and in other areas, we have a whole lot of room for growth. And so this is why we feel like it's our obligation to share with you what we know and what we're seeing has worked. It's proven to work. So it would behoove you to do, obviously, you have your own say and you can do whatever you want with your business, but it would behoove you to copy and duplicate something that does work.
Yeah. So when I'm in a room with a bunch of diamonds who are no different than the people that are on our team, they have a system that works. I'm going to replicate it. The highest form of flattery is imitation. Mm-hmm. So I want to imitate them because it's been successful. Before I go into the next steps, I want to read this. Give me a couple minutes because I think it's good. Some really 5 points that Nikki shared with me that I think are applicable to what you just said. So here's why she pushes this system: customer to wholesale to ambassador. We have a compensation plan that promotes solely on team growth. So I see it as my job as a leader of my team to get my people to promote to the top with me. It's not to solely raise the pay point. I want my people promoting. And in order to promote, it's a numbers game. You have to have wholesale ambassadors to get to diamond. There are not many people who think they want to be network marketers. We love our wholesale ambassadors, even the minimum qualifiers, just like I love my PV or high preferred customer ambassadors. They are all part of the bigger picture. I do encourage my minimum qualifiers to try more than triplex, and I encourage anyone with over 1,000 PV a month to start recruiting those customers. Number 2, I preach to convert customers to ambassadors. I know some love to sign people up first, but I personally train more to start someone out as a customer first, unless they're gung-ho and want the business from the start, to make sure that they love the products, then convert them to a wholesale ambassador, stick with them to get them to love it even more, and then get them sharing. Wash, rinse, repeat. Converting customers to ambassadors is super easy. It's a no-brainer most of the time because it's a better deal. And there's little to no commitment, but it's a cycle. Customer, wholesale, ambassador. Number 3, I believe product education is key. Once we get those minimum qualifiers on board, they're exposed to way more product education. Therefore, they start training way more than they would ever had they become or stayed a customer. I hear this daily from ambassadors. They didn't even realize all the products we had to offer until they became an ambassador. While the triplex is amazing, and it's what 99% of us sell, I think sometimes we forget to encourage the other products that ultimately hurts us big time. So one thing I actually love about our preferred customer bonus, coming from our half, in other words, taking out of our commissions, is that it prevents it from being a top-heavy plan. It's not just those at the top making a huge commission, but everyone along the way able to earn income. So in other words, if there were no preferred customer bonuses, everyone at the top would be making money from the pay points, and then everyone who just has preferred customers as in a jewel would make a few bucks, not hundreds of dollars a month to be able to do a car payment. So this last point, I tell my people, don't keep customers long enough to see the 10% discount. If you want to promote, you have to flip them to a wholesale ambassador. Last point, and if all else fails on being unsure what to do, whether you keep them as a customer or you make them an ambassador, it is better for you if it is, hold on, back up. I tell people to do what is best for the other person, not for yourself. I think we've said that as well. It is better for your customer to stay a customer or become an ambassador. It's truly a better deal for them than it might not be. See what they are ordering. it is better to sign up straight away. Is it better to sign up straight away as an ambassador if they're concerned about money and skeptical about the products? Well, this is why we feel good starting them as a customer first if there's any questions. Preferred customer is the cheapest for them, and they get their 60-day guarantee. We all feel good about that decision. Then when they love the products, they feel good getting it cheaper, and then my team feels good because they're growing their teams when they change it to a wholesale ambassador. Then it becomes better for everyone else. I want them to build trust in their audience, their customers, and their teams. This is about all the math aside, but I can show you spreadsheets and numbers all day long to back the way that they've been trading. So this system works. How many diamonds do they have underneath them?
I think 6 or something.
6 or 7 diamonds.
Well,
underneath.
and they are historically, people have leaned on them for over a year now. They figure out the pay point, and I don't even know how they do it before the pay point and the commissions come out.
Yeah.
Zach gets on and they do the numbers. So they're very credible when it comes to numbers.
So that was a summary of our 1-hour conversation. And so I apologize if I didn't read that too clearly, but here's the steps that they do. And I want to encourage our team, unless you're extremely happy where you're at, then don't do this. But if you want more, I feel so strongly that this is the path to take us in the right direction.
And it keeps everything in a really manageable funnel, I think, too. If you are seeking customers, but then once you have a happy customer, then you're still seeking new customers. So we're not saying go sign everybody up as a wholesale ambassador from the get-go. That is not what she's conveying. She's conveying get a customer, but once you have a customer, in her mind with her team and what we're sharing with you is there's a mandatory switch that needs to happen. The majority of your customers now should not be customers 3 months from now.
If you have a customer that's been a customer for 6 months, 7 months, 10 months, then unless they're buying probiotic or that's their only product, we've still failed because we haven't got them on the other products. Right. They should become wholesale ambassadors. So you get a customer, you stay on them, you get feedback in the first 30 days. The verbiage that I just showed you on the screen, you share, and if you don't have your own, just follow that. It should be really simple. I'm just giving you a cheaper option. Convert them to a wholesale ambassador. There's no selling required. You don't have to share if you don't want to. Just get them in the door because they're essentially operating just like a customer, but on a minimum basis. Add them to the team page, and then engage them to share at some point down the road. Wash, rinse, repeat. So the benefits long-term are great because I promise you have customers right now that could be rockstar ambassadors for you. That don't know it. That's right. Raise your hand if you were a customer before you were an ambassador.
Oh, what is that?
It's a mosquito eater. There we go, Stephanie. Customer for ambassador. You're a rockstar ambassador, Stephanie. Plain and simple, you are. Okay? So there are others on our team who are customers. Erica Garcia was a customer.
She's on here. They're on there, but I don't know where all the people are hiding.
Okay, that's all right. So this is the process. Okay, I want to go back to this Costco slide, and I'll tie all this together, and then we'll open up for questions. So I said that we started out here as business members for years, okay, paying $55 to get products at a reduced rate. It was fine. It's great. Mm-hmm. And then Costco introduced the executive membership, and we found out about it probably 5 years ago now. Mm-hmm. And it was double the price. And that was like, oh my God, we're going to pay $110.
Why do you need to pay that?
We're paying $55. Why are we going to pay $110? Well, because you get 2% back on all your purchases. Well, we were spending at the time maybe $100, $120 at Costco every couple weeks. Did the math. All right, well, we might be able to, get gas there. We might get half of our money back. And well, the first year, our check from Costco was $82. So of the $110, my next membership, I paid, essentially 30-something bucks versus $55. Well, after that first year, $82, it's averaged $102 to $130.
Yeah, it's over.
Every year.
They pay us a little bit.
So my point is, even though this membership for Costco is $110, double what the standard membership is, because of our purchase habits, they're actually paying us to use Costco.
And I will tell you, while Costco has great things, whether we were getting paid back on it or not, we have justified purchases in the past because we knew we were getting 2% back. Yeah. Or we said, well, should we buy a Keurig coffee maker or a Vitamix over here? Well, no, it's $400 item. I can at least get 2% of that back if I buy it at Costco. So it drove our business back to Costco as well.
So I say this to say that it's no different when we're considering customers going to wholesale ambassadors and then becoming full-on commission ambassadors. There's the opportunity to earn back some discount and get things at a cheaper price. So we want this to be the gold standard in how we do it. And we've seen teams, I'm going to stop the sharing. Actually, I'll take it back in here. Here we go. So we've seen teams around us, and not just Texas, by the way. These are people with teams all over the country.
Small towns, big
towns, doesn't matter. It's just a process, and it's important that we follow it. I think we want to make sure that we are downloading a really succinct process so everyone can replicate it.
And I think that's the key. It's a system, and if you apply it like a system, just like anything else you do in your life that's routine, you're more likely to do it. Just like we say, if you put your ProBio or your BioCleanse by your bed, you're going to remember to take it because it's part of your routine. If you adapt and adopt this process as a routine or a system to your business, you are just statistically will be more successful than you have been in the past.
And we know the compensation plan is great, but think about one of the difficulties when you bring on an ambassador, having to explain 11 different ways you get paid and all those different things that go into it. You don't have to do
any of that with them.
No, just you're going to get it cheaper. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sure we've got some objections or
questions, comments, concerns.
Oh my gosh, this is so awesome.
I love it. I love the Katie enthusiasm.
It's good.
You know, I love the numbers. This is great. And I've been kind of thinking about, I don't know, Jen, it's funny because we'll have our little meeting in a little bit about, and one of the chapters is intuitiveness, and I'm just not. I failed miserably on that chapter. But what's funny is I was thinking about that because talking about not letting them get to their 4th month, that has occurred to me.
Yeah.
I didn't really connect with it. It was like a fleeting thought. Oh my gosh.
Well, and we kind of sell that. And, you know, and I can't see Erica, but I'm not talking about her behind your back. We've had these conversations. But several months ago, we had a conversation like, she's like, I noticed that your PV is never up in the top 10 of the team or whatever. And how come it is that we've been in the business about this almost the same amount of time, and she has historic high PV, and I have not, and there's no rhyme or reason. But when you put your efforts towards growing a team, and I'm not saying that she hasn't because we've talked about that, that's not true either. But the difference of, and most of the jewels that were at the training said that their PV is at 1,000 or less. So let that be, again, a marker or indicator of success for you to say, okay, and again, the beauty thing of our comp plan is that it does allow people to have some instant success, to get some instant income when they pursue their business with customers. And that's what the preferred bonus really should be. And that's what the intent should be, but it shouldn't stay there. And if we keep a mindset of preferred customers are going to be my go-to, you're shortchanging yourself, because you're going to turn around in 12 months. You're not going to be able to turn those customers as easily into ambassadors because they've been paying the wholesale price. And they're like, well, why would I go spend an extra $35 to essentially pay what I'm paying now if they have no intent of selling?
Right. So it's got to happen sooner.
It's got to happen sooner.
The other thing too, I lost it. What I was going to share because you went on right there. It was good. Good.
In all honesty, at least on our end of it, I know the Missouri team, we have struggled because of the income levels. We don't have it like you guys do down in Dallas. We don't have a lot of people that have $100 that they could spend. But knowing that we can put it present it this direction, I don't know. There are so many people. We don't have Costco's out here. We have Sam's.
Sure,
same thing.
Same thing. And I know so many people who have Sam's Club cards. So, and I've even said that multiple times in meetings, it's cheaper than a Sam's Club card and you still get wholesale. So I really like this idea. It's a whole lot better than trying to sell $125 preferred triplex combo to somebody who doesn't have that kind of money. And they're looking at me with like, I've got three eyes going, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Sure.
Letting them know that they're getting a good deal, they're more apt to jump on it than they would be.
It's a good deal, and that's right. That's good. It's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So I think so I'm going to stop the recording here, and then we can stay on for some other things that we want to talk about. But honestly, we just feel very strongly that's the way to go, and we want to encourage you all to follow these steps.
Karen, do you have a question?